Ladies and gentlemen, life doesn't come with a manual. But every now and then, we find wisdom that can guide us like a compass. Today, I want to share 6 simple but powerful rules for life. These rules won't eliminate your problems, but they will help you navigate them with clarity, strength, and peace of mind. Personal responsibility is the starting point of all progress. Nothing in life truly changes until we do. Blaming circumstances, other people, or even bad luck may feel justified in the moment, but it leaves us powerless. When you constantly point the finger at someone else, you hand over the control of your life to forces outside of yourself. You wait for others to change. You wait for the world to be fair. You wait for the apology, the opportunity, or the miracle. And in that waiting you remain stuck. Taking responsibility doesn't mean everything that happened to you is your fault. It doesn't mean you caused your pain or deserved your setbacks. It means you refuse to let those things define you or control your future. It means standing up and saying, "This is my life and no one is going to live it for me. I may not have caused this storm, but I will choose how I walk through it." The most powerful shift a person can make is going from "why is this happening to me" to "what can I do with this?" That mindset transforms victims into victors. It transforms breakdowns into breakthroughs. You stop waiting for someone to come rescue you, and instead you become your own hero. When you embrace responsibility, you reclaim your time, your emotions, and your decisions. You stop wasting energy trying to change what you cannot control, and you start investing that energy into what you can control: your mindset, your habits, your reactions, and your path forward. Life doesn't reward people who make excuses. It rewards people who make changes. And every positive change begins the moment you stop pointing outward and start looking inward. Responsibility isn't a burden, it's the greatest kind of freedom. Because once you accept that your life is in your hands, you no longer need to wait for permission to change it. You simply begin. Self-growth should be prioritized over external success. In a world that constantly tells us to chase titles, trophies, and validation, it's easy to lose sight of the most important investment we can ever make: ourselves. Real success isn't about the car you drive, the house you live in, or the job title you hold. Those things can be lost, taken, or changed. But who you are, your character, your mindset, your emotional intelligence, your habits, those are the things that truly define you, and those are the things no one can take away. Working harder on yourself means committing to becoming a better thinker, a better listener, a better decision maker. It means asking hard questions: what triggers me? What fears are holding me back? What values am I living by? It means reading, learning, and growing, even when there's no applause or audience. Because you know that growth, though invisible at first, eventually changes everything you touch. External success without internal development is fragile. You might build a tall tower, but if your foundation is weak, it won't take much to crumble it. That's why so many people who have it all still feel empty. They climbed the ladder, only to find it was leaning against the wrong wall. But when you build from the inside out, when you develop strength, discipline, confidence, and wisdom, success doesn't just arrive, it becomes sustainable. You don't just rise, you stay risen. Every hour spent on personal growth is an act of long-term wealth creation. Not just financial wealth, but mental, emotional, and spiritual wealth. Because as you grow, your decisions improve. Your standards rise, your energy attracts better people and better opportunities. And soon the life around you starts to reflect the person within you. Growth may not be glamorous, but it is always powerful. It's slow, steady, and silent, until it becomes obvious in everything you do. Discipline now prevents deeper pain later. Life is full of choices, and every day we are faced with 2 kinds of pain: the short-term pain of discipline or the long-term pain of regret. The pain of discipline is waking up early when you don't feel like it, studying when it's easier to scroll your phone, exercising when the couch looks more inviting, saying no to temptations that promise comfort now but bring consequences later. It's not easy, but it's purposeful. It builds muscle, mental, emotional, and physical. On the other hand, the pain of regret is quiet at first. It whispers. It tells you there's always tomorrow. But over time it grows louder. You start to feel it when opportunities pass you by, when your health begins to fade, when relationships break down, when you realize you've spent too much time wishing instead of doing. Regret has a heavy price, because while discipline requires sacrifice in the moment, regret steals your peace over time. The truth is no one escapes pain, but we get to choose our pain. Discipline may cost you comfort now, but it rewards you with freedom, confidence and pride. Regret gives you temporary comfort, but it eventually delivers disappointment, guilt and frustration. Discipline builds character. It teaches you patience, self-control and endurance. It prepares you to handle life's storms instead of being destroyed by them. Every disciplined decision you make is a vote for your future. It says I'm not living for what I want right now, I'm living for what I value most. And the more you practice discipline, the stronger it becomes. What was once difficult becomes your new standard. What was once a challenge becomes part of your identity. You stop relying on motivation and start relying on commitment. Discipline doesn't just change what you do, it changes who you become. It gives you a sense of control in a world that often feels chaotic. It allows you to look in the mirror and respect the person staring back. In the end, discipline is not punishment, it's self-respect. It's choosing to do what's right for your future self, even if it's uncomfortable for your present self. It's understanding that success isn't about luck or talent alone. It's about doing the hard things consistently, even when no one's watching. You can't control everything, but you can control your mindset. Life is unpredictable, plans fall apart, people change and circumstances often don't go the way we imagined. The world will never offer complete stability, and trying to control every detail is not only exhausting, it's impossible. But while you can't always control what happens to you, you always have power over how you respond. That power lies in your mindset. Your mindset is the lens through which you experience life. Two people can go through the same situation, but one grows stronger while the other becomes bitter. The difference isn't in the event, it's in the perspective. When you choose to focus on what you can control, your thoughts, your energy, your effort, your reaction, you take your power back. You stop being a puppet of the outside world and become the author of your inner world. Most people spend too much energy trying to manage things beyond their reach. They stress over people's opinions, worry about outcomes they can't predict, and replay the past wishing it were different. But peace comes the moment you accept what you cannot change and shift your attention to what you can. You can't control whether someone likes you, but you can control how you show up. You can't control every opportunity that comes your way, but you can control how prepared and consistent you are when it does. Control doesn't come from having perfect circumstances. It comes from having a strong mind. A mind that can stay calm in chaos. A mind that can find solutions instead of excuses. A mind that can choose faith over fear, effort over apathy, and gratitude over resentment. This mindset doesn't develop overnight. It grows with intention. It's built in quiet moments, when you choose not to complain, when you pause before reacting, when you speak to yourself with encouragement instead of criticism. Letting go of what you can't control isn't about giving up. It's about freeing yourself from unnecessary suffering. It allows you to move forward lighter, faster, and clearer. When you stop wasting energy on things beyond your influence, you redirect that energy toward the things that actually matter. Your growth, your goals, your relationships and your peace. You learn to live from the inside out, rather than the outside in. The people around you can either poison or elevate your power. Who you surround yourself with shapes not only your habits and attitudes, but also your self-worth and vision for life. You may not realize it right away, but the voices you hear every day eventually become the voice inside your head. If those voices are filled with doubt, negativity, gossip, laziness or fear, they will plant seeds in your mind that grow into limitations. But if those voices speak with hope, vision, discipline, and encouragement, they'll empower you to believe in your potential and act on it. We often underestimate the power of our environment. You could have all the talent and ambition in the world, but if you're constantly surrounded by people who drain your energy, belittle your goals, or mock your growth, it's like trying to run with a weight tied to your ankles. Toxic people may not always look like enemies. They can be friends, family, or colleagues who disguise their criticism as concern. They question your dreams, minimize your efforts, or keep you anchored in the past, because your growth makes them uncomfortable. On the other hand, being around people who inspire you changes everything. These are the ones who push you to dream bigger, work harder, and live truer to yourself. They celebrate your wins without jealousy, and challenge you when you make excuses. They remind you of who you are when you forget, and help you become who you're meant to be. These people are mirrors, mentors, motivators, and they don't just walk beside you. They lift you when you fall. Choosing the right people isn't about being judgmental. It's about being intentional. It's about realizing that your energy is precious, and who you give it to will either multiply it or drain it. You become like the 5 people you spend the most time with, not just in habits, but in mindset, standards and expectations. If those 5 people have low standards, you'll subconsciously start to lower yours too. But if they strive for growth, excellence and authenticity, you'll be challenged to rise with them. Creating a supportive circle takes courage. Sometimes it means outgrowing people you once loved, or distancing yourself from relationships that no longer align with your values. It's not easy, but it's necessary. You can love people from a distance, while still protecting your energy. You owe it to yourself to build a circle that reflects the life you want, not the life you're trying to leave behind. Because in the end, your environment isn't just where you live, it's what lives in you. Growth is the secret to long-term joy and fulfillment. It's easy to fall into routines, get comfortable with what we know, and settle into a version of ourselves that feels safe. But growth doesn't happen in comfort. It happens in challenge, in discomfort, and in the willingness to step into the unknown. Life is not meant to be stagnant. Just like nature is constantly evolving, seasons change, rivers flow, trees grow, you too are designed to evolve. When you stop growing, you stop living with intention. You start merely existing. Many people chase happiness through temporary means, money, entertainment, approval, distractions, but those things wear off quickly. True, lasting fulfillment comes from progress. It comes from looking back and realizing you are not the same person you were 6 months ago. You've learned more, endured more, become more. And that process of becoming is what gives life meaning. Growth doesn't always look glamorous. Sometimes it looks like failure, frustration, or starting over. Sometimes it means admitting you were wrong, walking away from toxic patterns, or putting in effort that no one else sees. But beneath those struggles, you are expanding your capacity. You are building resilience, gaining wisdom, and sharpening your sense of self. Growth often shows up disguised as difficulty, but on the other side of that difficulty is transformation. One of the greatest things you can do is to adopt the mindset of a student for life. Be curious, ask questions, read books that stretch your thinking, seek feedback not just to be praised but to improve. Try new things, even if you might fail. Every experience, whether it goes your way or not, is an opportunity to grow. And growth doesn't just help you, it helps everyone around you. A better you is a better partner, friend, parent, leader, and human being. In a world that is constantly changing, your ability to grow becomes your greatest asset. It keeps you relevant, humble, and open-minded. It prevents you from becoming rigid, bitter, or out of touch. People who refuse to grow often get stuck in old ways of thinking, repeating the same mistakes and wondering why nothing changes. But those who embrace growth become adaptable, wise and grounded, because they are not afraid to evolve. You don't need to change overnight. Growth isn't about perfection, it's about progress. Even 1% better each day compounds into massive change over time. When you commit to learning, stretching, and reaching, life responds. Opportunities open up, new doors appear, and even when life gets hard, you're better prepared, because you're no longer the same person you once were. Growth becomes your foundation, your fuel, and your freedom. Blame is disempowering. Ownership gives you control. When we blame others for our failures, our circumstances, or our unhappiness, we give them power over our lives. We place the key to our future in someone else's hands, and wait for them to fix what we're unhappy about. But here's the truth. No one is coming to rescue us. The longer we wait for someone else to change, apologize, or make things right, the longer we stay stuck in the same place. Blame might feel justified, but it doesn't move us forward. Ownership does. Taking ownership means saying, even if this situation isn't my fault, it's still my responsibility to grow through it, learn from it, and decide what happens next. That mindset separates people who succeed from those who stay stuck. It doesn't mean you excuse bad behavior or ignore real injustices. It means you refuse to let those things define your future. You reclaim your energy from what happened and redirect it toward what you're going to do about it. Ownership is the foundation of growth. When you own your time, you stop saying I don't have time and start creating priorities. When you own your emotions, you stop saying they made me angry and start asking, why did I react that way? When you own your results, you stop blaming the economy, your past, or your boss, and start finding ways to adapt, improve, and move forward. That shift in mindset is powerful. It puts you in the driver's seat. We live in a culture that often encourages blame. It's easier to point fingers than it is to look in the mirror. But the mirror is where change begins. When you take an honest look at your life and admit, I could have handled that better, or I've allowed this situation to continue, you're not being weak, you're being brave. Because it's much harder to confront your own patterns than to criticize someone else's. Yet that confrontation is what frees you. It allows you to break cycles instead of repeat them. Blame keeps you trapped in the past. Ownership builds a future. The moment you stop waiting for external change and start becoming the internal change, your life transforms. You begin to realize that freedom isn't about controlling everything around you. It's about mastering what's within you. And when you do that, even in an unfair or challenging world, you find power. Power to heal, power to grow, power to lead yourself where you truly want to go. Success is not an event. It's a reflection of who you consistently become. We often treat success like a destination, a finish line we cross once we get the right job, the ideal relationship, or a certain amount of money. But the truth is, real success isn't a one-time achievement. It's the byproduct of daily habits, values, and decisions that shape who we are over time. It's not something we arrive at. It's something we grow into by becoming the kind of person who can sustain it. The world celebrates outcomes, awards, promotions, trophies, but the quiet, consistent effort behind those outcomes is where the real magic happens. The early mornings when no one is watching, the hard choices when no one is clapping, the discipline to keep showing up when progress is slow. That's where character is forged, and character is what sustains success long after the applause fades. Becoming someone who embodies success means aligning your actions with your values. It means showing integrity when it's inconvenient, practicing patience when it's hard, and making sacrifices when no one notices. It's about doing the right thing, not just the easy thing. Because over time, Who you are in the small moments determines what you'll become in the big ones. Success that isn't rooted in personal growth is often temporary. You might get what you want, but without the mindset and maturity to handle it, it can slip away. That's why so many people lose what they worked for, because they focused more on getting it than on growing into it. But when you develop the habits, discipline and emotional resilience required to handle success, you don't just achieve it, you keep it, expand it, and elevate others through it. You don't need to chase success as if it's outside of you. Instead, focus on becoming the kind of person who naturally attracts it. Someone who is dependable, focused, optimistic and consistent. Someone who learns from failure instead of being defeated by it. Someone who values progress over perfection and persistence over praise. Because who you are becoming each day speaks louder than any moment of success ever could. In the end, lasting success is always a reflection of your inner world. Your thoughts, your habits, your beliefs, and your ability to keep growing, even when no one else is watching. It's not about achieving something once, but about becoming someone who can keep achieving, no matter the circumstances. Letting go of what you can't control brings peace. One of the most powerful things you can do for your mental and emotional well-being is to stop trying to control everything. Life is unpredictable, and no matter how much we try to plan or organize, there will always be elements beyond our reach. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing that if we just work harder, think more strategically, or manipulate circumstances enough, we can make everything go our way. But in truth, the more we try to control, the more we end up frustrated and anxious. When you let go of the need to control every outcome, you free yourself from the constant tension and stress of uncertainty. The key is learning to focus on what you can control, your thoughts, actions and reactions, while accepting the things you cannot. This doesn't mean giving up or resigning yourself to fate. It means surrendering the need to hold on to things that are beyond your influence, freeing yourself from unnecessary mental clutter and emotional turmoil. It's about trusting that even when things don't go as planned, you can handle the situation and grow through it. The more you learn to let go, the more you realize how much energy you've been wasting trying to manage the uncontrollable. You begin to prioritize your peace over your desire for perfection. When things go wrong, instead of obsessing over why they happened or wishing they hadn't, you acknowledge the challenge and take the next step. You stop fighting against the current of life and start flowing with it, knowing that every challenge holds within it an opportunity for growth. Letting go doesn't mean being passive. It's not about giving up on your dreams, desires or goals. It's about releasing the tight grip of worry and control, and making space for the unexpected blessings life has to offer. When you stop trying to predict or dictate every moment, you open yourself up to new possibilities. You may find that life has a way of surprising you with the very things you never thought possible. Things that you couldn't have planned for no matter how hard you tried. In relationships, letting go of control is especially important. We often try to control how others perceive us, how they act, or how they treat us. But the moment you let go of trying to control others' actions or opinions, you create room for genuine connection. When you stop demanding things from others, and instead focus on being the best version of yourself, relationships can evolve naturally and authentically. You allow people the freedom to be who they are, which in turn allows you to love and be loved more freely. This practice of letting go also frees you from the burden of resentment. Holding on to anger, disappointment or grudges often stems from a desire to control how others behave or how situations unfold. But when you let go, you release the heavy weight of expectations and judgments. You accept that people will disappoint you, that life won't always go according to plan, and that the only way to truly move forward is to forgive and release. The act of forgiveness is not about the other person. It's about giving yourself peace and reclaiming your power. letting go brings a deep sense of peace, because it shifts your focus from the external to the internal. You stop waiting for the world to change, and start changing how you respond to it. When you stop resisting what is, you allow yourself to experience life more fully in the present moment. Instead of replaying past regrets or worrying about the future, you embrace the now. This moment, this day, is all you can control, and when you fully accept that, you find freedom in the simplicity of living. Ultimately, letting go of what you can't control doesn't just bring peace, it brings clarity. When you stop being consumed by things outside your control, you gain the mental clarity to focus on what really matters. You stop wasting energy on things that don't serve you, and start directing it toward the areas of your life where you can make an impact. You begin to see opportunities where you once saw obstacles, and solutions where you once saw problems. Life becomes less about fighting to bend the world to your will, and more about learning how to navigate its flow with grace, resilience, and peace. Your purpose is uniquely yours. Discovering it is the key to lasting fulfillment. Many of us spend years chasing the expectations of others, trying to fit into molds we were never meant to inhabit. We follow the paths laid out for us by society, family, or even friends, believing that success and happiness will come when we achieve what everyone else thinks we should. But somewhere along the way, we may start to feel disconnected, unfulfilled, and lost. We find ourselves wondering, is this really what I'm meant for? The truth is, purpose isn't something external you chase. It's something you find within. Your purpose is deeply connected to your passions, values, and the way you uniquely see the world. It's that thing that makes you feel alive. The activity that makes time stand still. The cause that stirs your heart, or the change you wish to see in the world. When you're living in alignment with your purpose, it's not work, it's fulfillment. It gives your life direction and meaning. It's the difference between simply existing and truly living. Finding your purpose isn't something that happens overnight. It's a journey of self-discovery. It requires time, reflection, and sometimes trial and error. You don't have to have it all figured out from the start. In fact, your purpose can evolve as you grow and experience life. Sometimes you find it through a series of small, seemingly insignificant steps. Other times, it hits you like a thunderbolt in a moment of clarity. But no matter how it comes, your purpose is yours alone. It's what you were made for. When you find your purpose, you stop measuring success by external markers and begin measuring it by internal satisfaction. Success no longer means climbing the corporate ladder or acquiring material possessions. It means waking up every day excited to make a difference, to contribute to something larger than yourself, and to live in alignment with your deepest values. And the beauty of purpose is that it's not about achieving a goal or reaching a destination. It's about living out your truth in every moment. Living with purpose gives you resilience. When challenges come your way, and they will, you are better equipped to handle them because you know what you're fighting for. Obstacles no longer feel like roadblocks, but opportunities to grow. Your purpose acts as a compass, guiding you through difficult times, helping you make decisions, and allowing you to see setbacks as stepping stones rather than failures. Purpose gives you the strength to persevere when others might give up. Your purpose also connects you to something bigger than yourself. It helps you realize that your life isn't just about your own happiness or success, but about making an impact on the world around you. Whether it's in your relationships, your community, or even on a global scale, your purpose allows you to contribute to a greater cause. And in doing so, you find deeper fulfillment. Because true satisfaction comes not from what you take from the world, but from what you give. The path to discovering your purpose may be uncomfortable. It requires you to step outside of your comfort zone, to take risks, and to confront parts of yourself you may have been avoiding. It may require you to let go of certain beliefs, patterns, or attachments that no longer serve you. But this discomfort is not something to fear. It's the growing pains of transformation. The process of discovering your purpose will stretch you, challenge you, and push you to become the person you're truly meant to be. Living with purpose brings clarity. You stop chasing empty goals
and start focusing on what really matters. You no longer feel distracted by things that don't align with your vision for your life. Your decisions become clearer because you have a solid sense of direction. Your energy shifts from confusion and indecision to confidence and clarity because you know exactly where you're headed and what. Every choice you make is a reflection of your purpose. Purpose also fosters a deep sense of inner peace. When you are living authentically, doing what you love, and contributing in a way that is meaningful to you, external validation becomes less important. You no longer feel the need to impress others or prove your worth. Instead, you find satisfaction within yourself. Your self-worth is no longer tied to external achievements, but to the knowledge that you are living in alignment with who you truly are. Finally, finding your purpose gives you freedom. Freedom from the expectations of others. Freedom from the pressure to conform. Freedom to create a life that reflects your truest self. When you embrace your purpose, you stop living according to someone else's timeline, and you start living on your own terms. You become the architect of your own destiny, and with that comes the freedom to design a life that is both meaningful and fulfilling. So as you walk through life, remember this: true success isn't found in chasing perfection or comparing yourself to others. It's found in the quiet, consistent work of becoming the best version of yourself. Take ownership of your path, build discipline, choose growth, protect your mindset, and surround yourself with people who uplift your journey. Life will test you, challenge you, and at times try to break you. But if you stay grounded in these principles, you won't just survive, you'll rise. Not because everything around you changed, but because you did. And that kind of change is the most powerful success of all.